Hey guys, Zach here with multipartstore.com. This is going to be one in a series of video overviews that's going to cover all of the different multi-tools that we carry parts for in our store at multipartstore.com. The purpose of these videos is just going to be to familiarize you with the different tools that are available, the different parts for those tools, and how those tools come from the factory for reassembly purposes and that sort of thing. This is not going to be a super comprehensive video, but it is going to be a broad overview so you can familiarize yourself with the tools before you purchase them. This video is on the Leatherman Sidekick and the Leatherman Wingman. The first thing you'll notice about these is they have two exterior opening tools. The Sidekick I will keep on the right. That has a plain edge knife blade as well as a saw. And those are both going to be on the same side of the tool. The Wingman in that place is going to have a very similarly styled combo edge blade, partially serrated. And then on the other side, it is going to have a pair of scissors. And that is going to be two-part construction with a separate spring bar. Inside, actually on the back of each tool, you're going to have a pocket clip as well. Those are held on by a torque screw. Let's find out what size. I believe it's T10, but we will confirm that. Yep, that's a T10, and that should be on all four corners is going to be a T10, and that's on both the Sidekick and the Wingman. The only difference in the frames is going to be that that name, which is debossed or embossed. I think debossed in this case. But otherwise, the frames are identical and interchangeable. Inside each tool, you're going to have the same plier heads, which are spring-loaded. They've got, all the standards. They do not have replaceable cutters. You can see here that there is definitely a gap, and that is on both of these brand new models. So don't expect those to cross cut. They are, if you look down the barrel, they are they meet in the middle. They don't bypass, if that makes sense. Going to the Sidekick internal tools, you're going to have on the saw frame, you're going to have a flat head and a Phillips head, and those are marked. The Phillips is going to be on the side with the saw, so it's going to be the flathead is on the back in this orientation. I believe that is going to be exactly the same on the Wingman. Those two tools are the same on the Wingman, I've confirmed. And if we look inside, you're going to see that there is definitely some spacers. I think they're on both sides. You see a really thick one on the right, and it looks like a very thin one on the left. I don't think there's any between the tools. They do interact, so there shouldn't. I don't believe there's any washers in between, but there are some washers there, and that's going to be exactly the same on the Sidekick. Back on the Sidekick, looking at the blade side handle, and to clarify, the blade side handle is the one with the tool name on it. Inside of there, you're going to have three tools. I believe three tools, four tools, sort of. From back to front, in this orientation, you're going to have the serrated edge knife blade. You're going to have the small flat screwdriver with file. You're going to have the can opener combination tool. This does have a wire stripper there, and you might be able to see that better from this side. Maybe not. And then you are going to have a small lanyard loop, or pretty big lanyard loop, actually. All of these, including the tools on the other side, are in a detent system. They're not. There's no locking here. That lanyard ring does not lock. That will pivot, and it will actually pivot quite a lot back. It bypasses the frame piece. Looking at the end, we're going to see again, this is the Sidekick. We're going to see that large spacer to the left, in this orientation to the left of that lanyard ring. And I'll pull that lanyard ring up just so you can see that even better. So that lanyard ring's up, and you can see there's a nice big washer next to it. If there is any more washers, they would just be on the other side. There's nothing in between these tools, I don't believe. So that is the Sidekick tool set. I'll do a quick or I'll show you each side of this. And then if we move over to the Wingman, again, this will be the blade side. We are going to have the same combo tool, can opener combo tool, the same file, and then instead of the serrated blade, we're going to have the package opener. Again, this detents out, does not lock. It's got a hook blade essentially there to dig into packages and open them. Looking at, if we compare this, you can see here, hopefully you can see, to the left of, let's pull that focus forward. Yeah, to the left you've got two washers now. And they're two different sizes. There's a smaller, it's literally smaller. The outer diameter of the washer on the left is larger than the outer diameter of the washer to its right. These tools are pretty much identically sized. Wish I had a ruler here, but it's basically 4 inches long. These aren't going to be exact, I'm sorry, but it's about 1.25 inches wide, and it's about, I would say, 5/8 of an inch thick. That doesn't include the pocket clip. So there's your dimension on the Sidekick and the Wingman. I think that's going to cover it. Yeah. I do know from experience that this is a screw that you can take this screw out and remove the pocket clip, and there's a secondary screw on the inside which meshes through the pivot. I should mention, as with all of these videos, I'm going to be working on the website to put forward a document which will give a little bit more detail on certain specifications, common specifications that people have asked for. Primarily, that's going to be pivot size for both the tool and plier side, which tend to be different. It's going to be the drive size for those. And then I hope to also have tool thickness for each and every tool. So if you are trying to create a new tool stack, I should mention that both of these have rulers on that side. So if you're trying to create a new tool stack, you can confirm whether they should fit in that handle before you get too far into your project. So check that out at multitools.com. If you need any parts or have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. My email is zach@multipartsstore.com. That's ZACH @multipartsstore.com. Thanks for watching. I forgot to mention that the Sidekick and Wingman do typically come with a 4 1/4 inch nylon sheath from Leatherman, and those are all made in China. Part numbers 946759. that is what typically comes with the Sidekick or Wingman. Little addition for the Wingman specs video. As I'm beginning to dismantle it, I'm on the scissors side here, and this will also go for the Sidekick. This is the blank frame, which doesn't have the tool name on it. You've got a few additional spacers that is not immediately obvious. So this frame goes together this way, and your pivots come up from the bottom side, and your screw heads come down from the top through this additional plate. But underneath this plate, you're going to have quite a few random interesting pieces. So for one, you're going to have this stack of a black plastic spacer, as well as this large, it looks like a phosphor bronze washer. This is the typical washer, which goes alongside the scissors. And if you put those side by side, it is smaller. This one goes on the scissors. This one goes down here. So you're going to get all of these. There's also a thin spacer, which goes alongside the tools, and a thick spacer, which goes on the pliers side. And you can see it here. It goes on the clip side of the pliers, and that's where that makes up the gap right there. So those are some spacers I've pulled off on this side. I'm expecting the same spacers on the other side. In fact, here you can see the black spacer with the phosphor bronze. I'm not sure if you can see that. Actually, I don't know if I can see that. So we'll see if I can make out what side it's on. I'll add an addendum to this video. But otherwise, that should cover all of the different spacers. Interestingly, the name side of the frame on the Wingman does not have the larger bronze washer. So if we pull up, I've got the Sidekick still assembled here, and we look, it's going to be, where is it? So it's kind of in here, yeah. So you can kind of see, I'm not sure if you can see, down deep in there is where you're going to see the black spacer, and this is the name side. If we look at over here, I'm not sure if I wonder if that's only on the scissor side. Perhaps they needed a little additional space. I don't see that. So that's my guess. I will check back if I learn anything more. Thanks for watching. Where I think we are ending up on this is we're going to simplify our listing a little bit. So there is this large bronze washer is not included anywhere in the Sidekick. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give you a few options. We're going to have 3 frame options on our website. The first is going to be the Wingman frame, and that's gonna include all of the different parts that come with it. It'll include the thick black plastic washer, the thick metal washer for the plier side, and then 1 phosphor bronze washer, and the 2 sets of pivots and the pocket clip. Then we're going to do the Sidekick name frame, which will be the same. It should include exactly the same stuff, except it'll say Sidekick on it. And then we're going to offer the Wingman blank frame, which, again, it won't include these spacers. Those are, we don't include spacers, unfortunately, just because they're too difficult to keep track of. So you'll get the frame piece, the blank frame piece, and it'll include that thick washer, or that extra bronze washer. It'll also include the plastic black washer, the thick washer for the plier side, and the extra phosphor bronze washer for the, in this case, it would be the scissors end of the pivot, plus the pivots. So you'll get all of this, and we're not even going to include, we're not even going to offer the blank frame from the Sidekick. We're going to write that off. We'll recycle all the parts, because we don't want to have, I mean, this would essentially be identical, except it would be missing this brass washer. I know we think that would lead to confusion for you guys, potentially. So you will get that washer if you buy from our site, and then you can choose whether or not to include it. If you're doing the scissors, you would include it and as an extra spacer, and if you are doing the saw blade from the Sidekick, you would not include that extra spacer, and that way you can make things sized to fit your needs, depending on what mods or what repairs you're doing. I hope that makes sense. I think that's the only surprise I've found so far on the Wingman Sidekick, so hopefully that'll do it, and you guys can make sense of that. Appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next video. Another interesting development, I'm taking apart the Leatherman Sidekick, and I noticed that underneath the saw blade, this is the blank handle, it had the large phosphor bronze washer at the top underneath the saw blade and no small bronze washer included. So again, we're only going to be selling the Wingman blank handles, and it's going to come with both of those washers. So if you want to set it up like the Wingman, you're going to go with the small one up top and the small phosphor bronze washer up top, the large bronze washer at the bottom with the black spacer on there as well. If you want to set it up like the Sidekick, you're just going to use the large washer at the top, and that's going to be the stock settings. You should do it however you feel will suit your needs the best, but I did want to give that quick update. So this is the blank frame, and yeah, it'll hide just like that. So that is how that would be set up stock. Again, we are selling it with both washers, so you have the option to set it up the way you like. Our motto is your tool, your way, and that's how we do it. Check us out at multitools.com, and we hope to have these up for you soon.